those details are what made me fall in love with like films and being a film nerd.
Yeah, absolutely. And it really is a film school of all the different ways of being able to do special effects prior to computers doing anything. Gretchen, hey, welcome back.
Thanks.
And welcome everyone to the Check the Gate podcast, where Gretchen and I watch a movie and we start to talk about it, and then who knows where it's going to go from there, depending on if somebody shows up in the studio and gets a little bit grumpy and we have to ride it out for a bit. But here we are, we're finally talking about it. And Gretchen, I think you should introduce this movie.
Oh my gosh, 1968, Mario Bava, Danger, Diabolik. I just happened to watch this film. My Valentine showed it to me, and I just completely was enamored with it. I had seen excerpts of it, not knowing what it belonged to. I think I thought it was like a James Bond movie, because like this has that similar vibe.
Right. And
I really hadn't paid much attention to it, and I'd heard it got an MST3K treatment, but again, one of those things that's just like it was not in my purview, so I just didn't happen to see it. But I did watch, when I finally watched it, I was completely enamored with this film. Oh my God. This has so many good things. I mean, even as kaiju nerds, like for us, like this even has elements of that in it. But that being said, 1968's Mario Bava's Danger, Diabolik.
Yeah.
It's from based off of a manga, or not a manga, but like a comic series or a book series that was from these two women who had seen a copy of Fantomas, which was another Italian magazine that was kind of like about a crime, like a gentleman crime character like this.
Yeah.
And so I think this was kind of their version for traveling. It had a smaller ratio of design, like for like kind of sitting on the subway and reading. I mean, and like women today, we love our crime and our like our serial killers. I think that's what this kind of appeal was in the early 60s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had never seen a Mario Bava film.
Which shocks me that you've gone this long.
I know. There's so many films out there in the world.
Right.
But I don't want them to slip by. So that's why this is so fantastic, watching this film, being able to have ourselves, put each other under pressure to go and watch something new and be outside of our box.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't know that I would have chosen this film had it not been chosen for me and someone said, go very specifically watch it. This director isn't even on my radar. And the only
Really?
Yeah. And the only thing that I was actually really familiar with that I would have wanted to watch, which is I think it's Black Sabbath. Isn't Black Sabbath a film?
Bloody Sunday, the one that's that has like Barbara Steele in it.
There's a Bloody Sunday. There is a Bay of Blood.
And Planet Vampires.
Yeah, there's like a whole bunch of stuff in there, which are not even close to being like this film at all.
No, but I think the closest thing he did some westerns as well.
Yeah,
which is Italy did a lot of
those.
He
was making films. Like, he's making films.
So it's like the 40s.
Yeah.
Like he's I would almost say he's prolific. I don't think he gets enough attention, at least in America. We seem to be focused more on like Dario Argento and Fulci,
right.
Frizzi, Fulci.
Yeah.
I always get Fabio Frizzi because he did his music for him. Wait,
yeah.
Those Italian guys. But yeah, this director has so many credits. So many.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he is.
A ton of stuff. As a writer, a director, a cinematographer.
Yeah,
he was just making stuff.
Him and De Laurentiis, working in the studios, they just pumping out films of that era. I feel like it's kind of a tragedy that as Americans, our singular focus is on these I get Giallo's importance, absolutely, but I feel like the focus, we miss so much not focusing on those by missing out. Like we miss out on Westerns that are spectacular, that are even ghost stories, which are kind of my favorite like type of Western. I mean, go figure. I'm the person who likes to watch anything, any genre, but of a supernatural element. That always makes me happy.
Yeah.
Like across the board.
Well, and so,
But this doesn't have it.
This doesn't have that. And I just wanted to throw this out there, since that's the way our discussions can go. We could go wherever. I was talking with somebody the other day, and I forget who it was. We were talking about films, and they were talking about this one film that they really loved. And I was like, oh, that is, I said it was like, well, it was like Daimajin and all of this other stuff. That's a yokai film. And they were like, what's that? I said, a yokai film, Japanese ghost stories. And there's all these different, there's the Great Yokai War, and Daimajin, I think, kind of falls into that, because it's like sort of a spirit that comes back alive, that has revenge. And I think there was 3 of the Daimajin movies. We watched at least once. But like all these yokai films, and they were like, oh, I've never even heard of that. And I'm like, well, now you've got something new, because you love this film. Japan has an entire genre of its own that does these, that punched them out for years. So go and explore.
Well, I think that's like the trait of like being a film nerd in general, is like, you're like, oh, you like this thing? Well,
yeah.
Let me open this treasure chest of other films that are in that purview, but also other countries and whatnot. Yeah.
Well, and to expand on what you said, because Bava doesn't get the attention, there are a lot of Bavas out there in the world from various countries who don't get recognized for the influence they have. I mean, so we watch this. What's the most obvious, at least to me, I'll say it to me, there's a very obvious influence.
I didn't notice
as
it
to
until
what,
you told me. I started laughing. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. What's the most obvious influence that you, or the one I'm thinking of, or the one I mentioned?
Well, you should mention it. I
Austin
love
Powers.
Right? I was all James Bond, and you're like,
This
Austin Powers.
Yeah,
I was like,
this
wait.
it's an unaware, so it's and the difference is where Austin Powers is this spy, an international man of mystery, and he's a photographer and an astronaut, and he does all these other things. So it was, it's
so is Danger Diabolik.
And that's the thing. Danger Diabolik is all of these things without being the super spy. It is if Austin Powers were not self-aware and was a cat burglar.
Yeah.
The crazy thing about this film is that there's no real solid plot, and there's kind of is, but it's like what, 30 or 40 minutes into it before we actually get to.
Yeah, that's the thing, is we feel like at the very beginning of this film there's this beautiful shot of all these like police officers in like leather motorcycle gear that are kind of parading down the streets, and it's what's so interesting about it is, like, first of all, like, oh my god, the attire that the Italian police from 1968 have is gorgeous. Like total leather daddy.
Yeah.
Like it's very like zipped up, like motocross jacket with like a leather hat. It's spectacular. Everything about this film, there are these moments that have just like kind of drawn me in, and that scene, you feel like you're coming in mid something.
Absolutely.
It's like on the ground.
Well, the world is extremely defined.
Yes.
They know exactly what the world is, but we don't, and they don't give you a date or anything.
Nope.
We have no idea where we're starting out. So
Nope.
I had actually thought it was sort of like a futurist concept of some fascism, which maybe that was what, but it's never defined. They never make that point in dialogue or story.
Which is probably the appeal of this, is that it you have this like gentleman criminal who is sexy, and well, he murders the hell out of people, but like, well, it's all in the fun of like getting the prize for Eva or himself.
Right. Yeah, well, and because the whole thing feels, they don't ever give us any kind of real date, so we don't have any solid feel for what kind of a time period we're in, and we really don't have anything that is like a plot. Nothing feels like we have a solid direction on where we're going for like the first 30 or 40 minutes, I think.
Right, like I already have this established background, right, that they kind of expect us to be able to pick up pretty quickly that this is that there is a crime in progress, or that it has happened multiple times, so they're prepared for it. So we have the great leather daddy police force coming in, and then it cuts to where they're putting fake money in a sleeve and going, "This is the biggest delivery of daytime money." And you're like, "Wow, that's foreshadowing." Immediately, we know something's gonna go awry.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and you're right that it does. We start with something that's already going. Like we're jumping in the middle of.
I think it's people who've read the books or read those comics.
Probably. And this is the first film of the, because there's been a whole bunch of Diabolik.
Well, 3
films.
later.
There were 3 more later.
Yeah, not until like the 2020s.
Oh, okay. There were nothing between that one and the 2020 films.
No, there's some Fantomas stuff, but those are like, again, kind of they're like parallels, but they're not stories that cross. I don't think they may cross in the magazine or comic or whatever.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I don't know about them like in the series. I don't know if Diabolik makes an appearance in Fantomas stuff.
Ah, okay.
But yeah,
But
kind of in the same realm though.
Yeah, but for those of us, if you haven't read it, then it does start as, and this being the first film, despite the gap for 30 years, 40 years for any kind of sequels or somebody jumping back into it. So for us, yeah, it does it again, like that look and that feeling of jumping into this kind of pseudo fascistic futuristic world, leather daddy folks, and very sterile and clean. Like there's no plants, there's no anything, but we're jumping in the middle. Like you said, we're jumping into a thing that's already happened. Diabolik is already an issue, and we don't know what the issue is. Like we know, and we don't even have, do we have Diabolik's name? I don't even think we have Diabolik's name for like the first 5 or 10 minutes.
Well, they don't say his name. They just kind of they talk about crime in general. And then what I thought was also really interesting, a key point about this film is that there isn't a giant political statement about the Italian. Other than like the silliness of Italian police in general, but like there's no overarching political statement to be said about this film. It's purely entertaining.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I don't think there's any idea of like trying to go back to like a World War II Mussolini kind of commentary or anything like this. I think it was more like, I think Leather Daddies is the perfect way to do it. It was like, these guys look like a bunch of leather daddies in a crazy fascistic future that's very sterile and cold and concrete. Yes. Go, go, go. Yeah.
But no, we also get introduced to our main foil, which is Kinko, like the police chief.
Yeah.
I like there's a scene afterwards where they're setting up the money scene and whatnot, and then he's talking to 2 police officers, and they're supposed to be like kind of like decoys,
right?
And that they're supposed to be diplomats. And there's this little there's this little bit where he's like, God, put your gun in your hat and stand up straight. Be dignified. You're supposed to be big dignitarians or diplomats. It's like,
the only one who looked the part was the guy who was driving the car, who was also a police officer, but like he had 0 fucks, and he was just like, nope, I'm gonna smoke my cigarette, have my jacket half unbuttoned with my hat tilted, and it's like
a little tight around the waist.
Yeah, exactly. I'm driving around these rich guys,
who are look like they look like the Monopoly guy.
Yes, they do.
With their top hats.
Yep, they are board game caricatures of diplomats. Yeah.
But what I just love that how, and also those shots, they're so beautiful. And then of course, Diabolik gets in, he gets the money, and then he makes it back to his lair. And there's when we get this spectacular scene of because we're both kaiju fans, we immediately were like, oh my God, the miniatures. They have a shot that's set up where the lever of the layer lever lifts up.
Right. Yeah.
And then they're driving behind it, and we both fell out laughing, you and I, watching this, because it's such a perfectly shot, and perfectly composited. Whereas in Godzilla films, sometimes you're like, oh, I can see those seams. Like these, only reason why we knew it was there is because we are,
Right.
we are kaiju
that
fans.
forced
I think.
perspective
That forced
miniature. But they did.
It was so
really
good.
great. Yeah,
it was flawless.
Yep, it looks like the hillside is opening up and this car is driving off the road into this hidden little cavern, even though there would be tracks in their dirt road that just disappear into a hill. But yeah,
that's a suspension.
That's a
of
sign.
disbelief.
Exactly.
Nobody
we can let
needs
some stuff
to know.
go. Yeah. No, that was great. And there was a bunch of that throughout the
Yes.
film.
His layer. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, look at our layer today.
I know. Yeah. With our little hidden mystery lady in the background,
yeah.
like the shower scene.
Wow. Yeah. I wonder, like, if that was, I mean, I know obviously clear that it was intentional, like that piece of art being a square where she's in the shower. So our main,
we got to talk about this layer.
Our girl afterwards, we'll talk about our girl. But
Yeah.
this layer, futurism, right? That's what that
Yes.
era of
Yeah.
1968, early 70s. I think this might be my favorite.
Yeah.
Like, I like that whole. There's two eras, like the late 60s, early 70s, I really dig. And I think this futurism and that like Renaissance, the new Renaissance revival is also very like spectacular. But this focused more on the futurism look, which is these steel piping and like a spaceship looking thing inside of the layer. Right?
Yeah. It's again, it's very much like the Austin Powers thing. And
yes.
And it's crazy with so Dr. Evil has the lair.
You're right. This is kind of like that.
And they're like in a cave. And in Austin Powers, it's very much like this looks like a set.
Yes.
They're not trying to pull one over on you, which is fine. It's great for the film, and I love the Austin Powers films. But, that is clearly not this extremely beautiful, expensive, chromed over ducting and piping and all of this other stuff. And in this one, it's like, this looks like somebody's billionaire cat burglar lair that they literally built into all of the stone under there. And there's these shiny pieces and the steps. And I mean, there was a built set that they also then did some forced perspective miniatures on for some other parts of it. But then they also, they did that kind of rotoscoping, cell removal and had other stuff in the back, like him driving in when they drive
That's
in.
true.
The doors open up and they're driving into this massive cave system in there. And he's clearly moving toward a screen on a stage, but it's shot really well.
And all the matte painting scenes.
All the matte paintings.
Oh my gosh, this movie! I love it. Like it just those moments are what I love about filmmaking in general. Like those details are what made me fall in love with like films and being a film nerd.
Yeah, absolutely. And it really is a film school of all the different ways of being able to do special effects prior to computers doing anything. Just all of the different aspects that they pulled into. The only thing that they didn't have in there really was stop motion.
They did use stop motion.
Was there a stop
Remember
motion?
the when they're showing the map, the police map?
There is.
And it's
That's correct. You are totally right. So they had the stop motion too because they wanted to have the map populate itself as if they were in some kind of a futuristic computer system looking at a map, and they were like, detail all these lines.
The same with the drawing, the facial recognition drawing.
The facial recognition drawing. That's right. That was a kind of a stop motion animation piece that they did. They were feeding the computer information for it to build out a profile of the woman. So it did have stop motion. That is correct.
So we're using
right.
all the skills available at this time.
It really was, and effectively.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, going back to the layer, like the spinning. I mean, that there is
goodness.
when the car gets onto it drives into the layer, and the two of them are making out in the car.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god! First of all, hot. Second of all, some stagehand is like rotating this like
Right.
They're on the bottom like, yeah, this is my job. Or the people that are probably sliding open the doors.
Yeah.
They're like on the side, like pulling it.
Oh, yeah. And just so for all of you to know that there is like, going back, I know where Austin Powers got all of this stuff. It's so clearly obvious because, yeah, it's this giant, and not only is it a giant bed, but it's kind of a multi-layered bed. It kind of has like a little bit of a spiral feel with some things that are all kind of attached.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of got its little platform around there. And the whole thing is rotating and spinning with a set of offset stairs to it.
Yeah.
They build that whole thing out.
It makes you wonder, like, did they use it for other films, or if it was like used for possibly like a James Bond thing, or
Right.
has to be. I mean, this could be like they just go all out,
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, and one of my favorite scenes is like the waking up and so they take a shower.
Yeah. Describe the shower.
Well, the shower is like the dream shower, right? So
Yeah.
there's like plants in there, and then there's this
big open air, like it's
giant, like a rainfall type thing.
Yes.
And then she has in her shower, she has a circle for like her boobies area, and then there's a long square to cover up her like lower regions.
Right.
And it's like a piece of sculpture that she stands in front of really strategically.
Yeah, it's like glass art
Spectacular.
instead of them having to put the little blur in the camera.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect. Just a little bit of like frosted glass there happening.
Yeah.
And then let's see. Well, we forgot to talk about how the fact that they pulled off their stunt. I mean, they stole the car that had the real money in it.
Yeah.
And that's what they drive into, or she drives into, meets him up with him, and
Right.
then she gets in the car with him with the money, and then
They did the car swap.
the car swap.
Yep.
And then the
Didn't they pitch one when they did the car swap? They rigged the first car that he is in
to go off
over the cliff to like crash into the Dino De Laurentiis gravel pit that's in like 100 films.
That's in everything. I swear to God, De Laurentiis like owns a quarry.
Yeah, exactly, and that's just like it's just littered
like,
with car debris.
Everything from like Evil Dead or Army of Darkness.
Army of Darkness, and anything that he ever had his fingers in, there is a quarry out there, and it's just littered with explosions and car parts.
They have to like redress it every time.
Yeah, exactly.
Like throw some more gravel out. All right.
Yeah, but they did the car swap. That thing goes over the side, and they drive away on it in a different Jaguar.
Yeah, because he's a Jaguar.
Yes.
Which I really can't quite understand. Maybe because I'm missing something culturally, but they talk about a Jaguar often, but I know that he's always driving one, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then even in the modern movies, there's Jaguar is one of the main even like a movie poster has like a picture of Diabolik and then like
it's
Jaguar.
always, yeah.
And there's those, and then
that's the status for him.
Yeah.
That's where his taste is.
Yeah.
Jaguars and
or he's like a jungle cat, something like that.
And that's good metaphor too. He's the cat burglar they can't get.
Right. So he's
Yeah.
he's the Jaguar. And then there's one kind of like that moment like later with the tiger tail thing. And we were both like, what the hell? We figured it was like an Italian
Right.
reference that we were both kind of missing.
Yeah.
My favorite part was like after the whole shower thing is like we cut to like the beautiful score again, and them and waking up in a bed full of money that they obviously just fucked in all night.
Right.
I was like, yes.
Yeah.
I think that is the appeal, like ultimately for this, like in general, like the whole, he is sexy,
Right.
He is mysterious, he's got hot girlfriend on his side.
He's not Robin Hood.
He's
in
not
any
Robin
way.
Hood in
Yeah.
any way, shape, form, or fashion.
Yeah.
But he is just kind of he's kind of sticking it to the man in his own way, but he's also the man too because he's
Right.
incredibly wealthy.
Yeah.
Like fathomlessly wealthy at this point, it seems like. Yeah.
And that's the thing too, because it does almost feel like there is an attempt at a little bit of a statement of I'm taking from the crooked cops or the mob, or like I don't know it, because it's never really fully clear. But it's Bava is not painting him as the bad guy
Or
at all.
yeah, he's also not painting the police as stupid. Maybe the commissioner, the one who's got the one who has the gap in his front teeth. That's I could not remember his name.
Oh, that's a famous British actor.
Yeah.
Been in a ton of stuff. But
Yeah.
for whatever is like the Italian chief of police or the police commissioner.
Yeah, he's like,
Yeah.
or the finance commissioner or something like that. Which,
Right, finance. You're correct.
Which is
he's
like,
a finance commissioner of Italy who is very much a person from Liverpool.
and very like public facing.
Yes.
So I guess in Italy, another one of those things that I'm like, is this an Italy thing or is this maybe this film thing that where he's having a public facing official that is a finance commissioner or
Right.
treasurer. Yeah.
Well, and if there is a statement, so we have this whole the whole beginning where he does do the robbery, and it's
Yeah.
and like you said, we're jumping in the middle of the whole thing. There's this setup. They're trying to transport a bunch of money. They're setting up a ringer. They're thinking the ringer is going to be the one that he tries to get, which is a bunch of blank paper. He actually finds the proper one and gets it. And so we're kind of dealing with all of that. We're still not at a plot point. We're just watching this whole thing play out and the spoils of it. But then there is a news conference.
Yes.
So we still don't have a plot, but there's a news conference to discuss the fact that the money was all stolen.
Yes. That's right.
And then they laughing gas.
Which was again one of those like MacGuffin things that were
Right.
spectacular. Well, that's not really a MacGuffin, but it's like a gizmo or whatever.
Right.
Like it was a gaff, I guess. Right? Would it be?
Well, it's I don't know what to call it, because that's the thing is we're still not at a place where a point has been defined or a plot has been defined. We've jumped in kind of mid-action.
Well, like having
with
gadgets
it.
like that is
Oh,
what
with
is.
the gadget stuff,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. Like they had these crazy gadgets that were kind of James Bond-esque, but
Right.
they're being used by this cat burglar. So we have this kind of
The laughing
impossible
gas.
technology.
Yes.
Well, and even before the laughing gas, remember he had the smoke machines that would set out the colored smoke that would block the road when they were driving.
That's true.
Because I think that was how he shot his car over the cliff, and they got all confused and they got lost in the smoke.
That's right.
You know, so because they did the car swap and then drove out of there in the other car, and yeah.
There's so many cars in this movie.
So many cars and so many, right. And again, without a plot, nothing has been set up for us. We're literally just watching a bunch of stuff play out that we don't even know why. We just know that it's happening. Like, we don't know the reason why Diabolik is taking any of this money, just because he can, and he is.
He never explains why.
No, never. He
There's
barely speaks in this whole film.
I mean, in the modern ones, I can't say I like him as much as I like him in.
Does he talk too much?
Well, he's not very nice.
Oh.
Like the first one is a kind of a prequel of how he meets Eva.
Okay.
Because automatically in this film we're already like introduced to Eva, and she's hot and amazing and like his partner in crime.
Yeah.
Whereas in the modern ones, he was married and he cheated on his wife, and he was using her kind of as like a double life.
Yeah.
She was like his cover wife, and that poor woman just loved him so much.
Trying to create more character and more story.
And I don't like him as much. Like, I
Yeah.
think I like what I love about this, honestly, is probably the fact that there isn't much story about him. There isn't much backstory. I don't need that.
Right.
And I don't think the audience needed that at the time.
Right.
But I think that modern audiences tend to be more motivated by like a character-driven story where like these are characters and they're moving the story along, but there's not we don't have an empathetic attachment, whereas I feel like the more modern stuff is trying to create an atmosphere, or they got 3 films out of it.
Yeah.
But I don't really know the specs of how successful those are, but I feel like the character of Diabolik, and that is to me less interesting because he's not very nice, and he's kind of a jerk in the way he talks to people, and she's not very interesting either. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think so. I think there's kind of two things that can kind of come with some of the modernization of how we look at films, because they're not worrying about footage anymore of celluloid. If they're shooting it digitally,
Yeah.
so you can get a bunch of takes. But if you have more exposition and you have these deeper characters, you try to do more stuff. It also gives you a chance to cut more. And there's a lot of parts of this film where they're not trying to go for like big Spielbergian oneers.
No.
Of these complex moves and shots, but they're long shots.
They are long shots.
And there's enough interesting stuff going on that you're not losing track or getting disinterested, and you're not distracted by a bunch of stuff. I think older movies tend to have that. They don't cut, they don't do the what is it, like the Taken maneuver where you got to do 14 cuts to get Liam Neeson over a fence while he's in a chase, because you had to shoot this thing from so many different angles to make it look like Liam Neeson is actually running and jumping over a fence. They're keeping the frame interesting and active long enough where it's a fun film and it's interesting to watch, and I don't have to have a deeper connection with them because I'm not having to keep my attention going from cutting back and forth between camera angles.
And I think I get bored, honestly, or I feel like I get a little ADD watching those overcuts.
Yeah.
Because I know they're not supposed to be as perceived, but because, again, we watch a lot of films, you and I specifically, we watch a lot of films, and we talk about films. And so I feel like we're sensitive to those angles and those cuts. So we appreciate those longer stretches. And honestly, like if going back to even like this we were talking about before, with the scene where we're at the conference or the news press, and they're shooting like they're using their laughing gas gadgets and anti-laughing gas pills.
Right. That was so good.
Yeah. Well, I
but it wasn't laughing gas, wasn't it? Didn't they call it like hilarious?
Like, yeah, or like
it was something like, it wasn't laughing gas. They did something else where it was like, oh, this is hilarious. This is so good.
Like, oh gosh, I can't remember the name of it. I can see it in my head. It's like on the tip of my tongue too. Or like hilarity or something like that.
Yeah.
Something silly. But yeah, it was.
And they had to label it too, because they weren't smart enough to know what their own little pill container was going to have.
They might have a lot of pills, Martin.
They might have a lot of pills in
there.
They
might have because we discover later there's other pills for other things.
That's true.
And tantric techniques and
That's right.
things like that.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, even
film.
even that scene, like we're talking about the long shot, there are so many people in the background, and we're at the press conference and we're talking about like, and the criminal element known as Diabolik, and the two of them look at each other. I'm like, wow, if I was somebody that I was be like, these two must clearly, they obviously know something.
Right. Yeah.
They're like looking at each other, like wry-eyeing and like.
Right. Yeah.
I'm like, wait.
And it's completely serious filmmaking too, and you're just like, yeah.
Dang it! It's gonna bug me. Well, remember in the middle of the episode, I'll be like, it's anti something.
Yeah.
No, it's so good. Oh, it's so much charm in this, and I hate when I say this, but I'm like, they don't make films like this anymore.
They don't. Oh, what was the gas dispersal on this one too? They're in the press conference.
Oh, the camera. That's what I'm saying. He's also a photographer.
The gizmos, and he's a photographer. He's got all this fancy photography gear, and this camera is rigged
to put off a gas.
Right.
Disperse this laughing gas
through the flash. So it gives
hilarity gas.
There's this little.
And nobody notices.
Nobody notices,
powder
not at all.
Turning into gas in front of them,
right.
Which is. Again,
yeah.
I love the suspension of disbelief in this. I mean, and it's not completely crazy, like suspension of disbelief. It's enough that it's still keeps this fun, which is what ultimately I think these films are about. Or this film is about, is to be like, it's to have that high drama, high criminal. To these, I mean, because like even like the rising score, the way people are dressed, everything is like up to an 11. I mean, and then we shift to like when we're having the club scene where we actually start to get into our main plot.
The club scene,
that wacky tobacco. we're watching this, and
how long does that play out?
that plays out way too long. That would be the only thing I would have cut back was like, there's this gorgeous scene where everybody is smoking the same. Also,
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
they're
that
passing.
pre-COVID vibes, man. Like, again,
Yeah,
decades.
Well, it's 68, so yeah.
it's fine. But it's like, I personally have a little, like, I'd be like, oh, I don't want to share. I don't want to share. Can you have a filter thing for my mouth? Because I mean, like, there's herpes.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, there was all sorts of things
Like,
in 68 that could have been going around with
Yikes.
that. But yeah.
But the passing, there's this, and then, so there's this passing
It
of
is
like
literally
a...
the puff puff pass.
Totally. But it's set behind glass that's lit, and it's set behind this spectacular, like panels of art, and so, like, the part of the 60s that I'm not into, which is like the hippie stuff, I'm not a fan. But, you know, whatever. This part had that kind of hippie like element, but then we realized this is also like where our criminals are at, because we've got to be by, you know, the drugs and whatnot. And this is where we start our
Or at least
plot.
our counterculture. I don't know about our criminals, but
Well,
definitely
that's where
counterculture.
the Valmont lives.
Yes.
Or Valmont's involved.
Oh, that's right.
This is where our plot
you're right.
drops.
So we have our counterculture people, but then we also have the mob influence that's pushing that. So you're right. That is our criminal underground.
Because, I mean, the wacky tobacco is illegal.
Right.
I think there's more than cigarettes in that, or more than cig of weed in that.
Yeah.
Because definitely everybody was like kind of like chasing the dragon vibe is what I was getting from that.
Yeah.
But maybe they just couldn't show that kind of element or something like that. I don't know. I'm speculating at what 1968 Italy is like.
Right. Yeah. But you're right. That's our introduction to our mob.
Yeah.
And and one of our henchmen.
Yes.
Who ends up calling the mob boss and kind of setting everything up. They got raided.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then this is where they kind of pat each other in the back, right? This is where we're setting. I'm not sure exactly. I can't remember where we jumped to from here. We jumped to we jumped back from the Valmont thing, and we meet Valmont and whatnot, and he talks about Diabolik, and then we jump to the gold.
Oh yeah. Well, have we got? Well, there is an establishment first because they've been raided.
Right.
And that was when they called
that's
right.
And
so the mob calls the police to say, "Hey, we'll give you Diabolik if you let up on us.
Like, kind of chill out. We'll make this happen."
Yeah.
That's right, because we get to that. We have that moment of where the mob is like reducing their numbers.
Yeah.
And he's like got them all on an airplane, and he's talking about how like this is supposed to be unanimous.
Yes. And again, back to the Austin Powers thing with the hole in the floor.
Well, he says, "There's 10 of you, and I wanted this to be unanimous."
Yeah.
And then he shoots a couple of them.
Yep. And they're in an airplane. So that's the thing, is they're flying. So they're trying to remain off the ground and away from the police and conduct their business. So they're in the mob boss's airplane up in the air. He shoots a couple of them to thin the herd, but then...
Yeah, and then the other guy begs for his life. He says, "Please don't shoot me. I will give you my vote. I'll give my vote." And then he's presses a button and the floor drops out.
Yep.
And he says, "I told you I wanted to shoot you."
Right. Yeah, he got the vote, but then, and it's so
unanimous.
Great, right?
And it's so good.
Yeah.
And nobody is affected by the floor dropping out. Like, you would think that the pressure would be
right. There's not the classic airplane like sucking all the air out.
But that's the thing, is there was right before that, because remember when the bullet strays and he takes his gum out and puts it in the hole, and you're like,
it's making the noise, but yeah, they don't have like a wind machine in there like blowing everybody's hair around. They've got the sound effect.
What?
Yeah. So the bullet hole does it, but the giant like 4x4 hole in the floor does not.
That's what's so charming about this. And I love that, because it's like, yep, okay, absolutely. We're all on the board with this. We're all on board.
Yeah.
It's legit. Yep. And I love that, like, his dumb girlfriend, bless her heart, she's like, she just walks in, she's just got like practically nothing on, and the floor dropped out. She's just like kind of smiling and laughing, and I'm like, man alive, this
Right.
is, oh boy, I love this movie. I
Yeah.
will say that multiple times throughout this is that how much I love this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
So they make the deal with the
deal.
police, and they set a trap, and that's where that big gold ingot
this
comes
was their
into.
first intention to set a trap,
Right.
because there's a second trap they try to set as well. But yeah, the first trap is they're going to take all the gold, and
what a plan too.
right, they're going to sink it.
They're going to take all the gold in the reserves,
Right.
and they're going to melt it all down into one giant ingot.
Yes.
They're going to seal it up in a casing that can't be opened. Like they said, this will take
days,
It'll
2
take
days,
days or weeks or something like
2 days.
48 hours. It would take anybody. It would take
Yeah.
48 hours to
Yeah.
be able to
Yeah.
get into this thing, and then they're transporting it somewhere. Now I forget why they're transporting it as but this is the trap. And it's like it's one of those things where it's like, wait a minute, you're taking Italy's gold reserve to put it into one giant bar and drive it around so that you can bait him out. Yeah,
They really want to catch him.
they really do.
They really want to catch him.
Yeah, it's so yeah. And at first I was like, I don't understand what's happening here. Yeah,
Gets a little convoluted
they
right
had to
there.
explain it. Yeah,
They don't give much exposition as to why. They never give any explanation as why they decide to melt down.
why this is the good idea.
This is
yeah.
This is the best idea, because cash. It's harder to transport gold. That's what it was. It's harder to move
Yeah.
because it's all one big giant block. How could he do it without them seeing it?
Right,
How?
exactly. And how could he?
How?
Because it's being that big gold ingot is being transported by train.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. It's so good. Because this is where we have more miniatures.
Yes.
We've got the whole train set up.
Which gives them the advantage that they wanted,
Right, because that takes the train over the bridge.
where they can put it in the water.
And we come to our bigature of a train track.
That's right.
And a whole trestle over a river that they then blow up.
Makes you wonder how deep that water was.
Right. Well, it's so
Because they do stunts under the water.
they do. Well, and this is the crazy thing, because the whole idea is that the train is going across the trestle. The trestle blows. The track comes apart. The train falls. All of its cars start to go, and the trestle starts to kind of fall apart back at. So all of these different cars are falling off of the tracks because of the explosion and the trestle coming apart. And our car with our giant gold ingot goes off of it, but our police chief is there too.
And he's okay.
Who survives it completely fine. Who's, doesn't bounce around inside the car or anything like that.
Nothing. Unscathed.
So here we are in Italy, blowing up a bridge. We've used our bigatures, back to these great special effects. Our ingot is in the water, and how does our anti-hero get the ingot?
Well, we get some people that kind of look like the two of them to,
In scuba gear.
which again, the scope of this film,
Right.
the use of every element in this is what makes this so ding dang charming.
Yeah.
I mean, it is.
Yeah.
And we have to get I don't want to go through every beat of the plot, but we got to get the ingot out of the water.
Yeah.
And we get it back to our lair. And the idea is that we're going to, how to remove it, because we can't remove the casing.
Right.
Have to melt it down.
Well, but we're not there yet.
Oh, yeah,
Not to melt
sorry.
it down, because how does he move that thing in the water?
Yeah, it's like
Little
a
boat.
Yeah, because they're wearing their scuba gear while
They have to
going
wear
through
their
it.
scuba
It
gear,
reminds
yep.
me of Johnny Quest almost a little bit.
Yes.
There's some elements like that. When I say Scooby-Doo, I should say Johnny Quest.
Yeah.
Because that's what I remember. Something
That's a
kind
better
of
description.
Yeah,
Totally
yeah,
a Johnny
yeah.
Quest thing.
Yeah.
Which doesn't happen until what, this like 72, 73 is
Something
when
like
Johnny
that.
Quest somewhere
You
comes
never know,
out
they
in
could be
there.
influenced.
I know, absolutely. So they've got their little manta ray boat is pulling this
Fantastic.
thing through the water to the lair.
Yes.
And then we get to the lair, and then we discover, which is where you can jump in, we discover how they're going to get it out of there.
Well, the idea is that they're going to warm up the gold and distribute it into the bars. And he has all the materials set up, and he's dressed in, he puts on his little like aluminum foil outfit and tells Eva to step back, which again is like 5 feet. And she's like half naked. He's like, this wipe get warm.
Like, but he's got a laser cutter, and he cuts into the case.
Yeah, so he could feed the warming
the
tube.
Yeah, essentially, he cuts through the whole thing and then sticks this heating element into there that liquefies the gold.
So if you're able to make a hole,
you should be able to cut the whole thing. Like, he makes a big enough hole to put that whole heating element in there and turn it all to gold. So he could have just like kept on cutting.
Or was he using the same area that they used to, did he cut a hole or did he?
Yeah, he cut a hole.
Okay.
He cut a hole in it with a laser cutter.
Because I was like, I know they like had to melt the ingot down to get it to that shape.
He melts the whole thing down, and then he's got like the tube rigged up to it as well, so that he can, as it liquefies, he can suck the liquid gold out of the tube and then blow it into the molds.
But again, this is not our plot.
No.
That's what's so, it's another heist that happens.
This is
the second heist.
It's not really a MacGuffin, but this is definitely part, the gold bar is part, or the gold ingot, the giant thing is part of the whole convoluted trap to try to get him.
For your
this
birthday.
Is just the way it's going to be.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say, like, because there is no solid plot to this thing, and we're never given any type of real direction as to what the cat burglar Diabolik wants. Everything is really just this crazy set of circumstances and heists.
But they're like high stakes heists, and that's what makes them so fun.
They're very high stakes heists, but we're never given a directive that Diabolik wants.
Right.
It really is a set of, they want to catch him, he wants to steal stuff. They set up things for him to steal, thinking they're going to catch him. They don't. And then rinse and repeat, bring in the mob who are also trying to like catch him to give him to the cops so that they don't chase the mob anymore. I mean, really,
and
that's
to take another player off the table too.
Right, because they don't want him taken from the things that they could be taking, and they don't want the cops to be coming after them for the things that they're taking. So if they can give the cops Diabolik, that'll give them a break. And I mean, that's really it. But there's like so many other moving parts going on with no direct reason that it's crazy awesome.
But one thing we haven't talked about that is the most dynamic thing about this is the way that Diabolik looks. Is the like the gimp suits, like the widow's peak happening thing. Wow. Molded ears. Yes. I mean, yeah.
The whole time that he is pulling off his cat burglary stuff
is his costume.
He's in a kind of a latex
and
leather suit. Yeah. It's a combo, and you're right. He's got a hood that comes over with the widow's peak that's in there, and that's. But then he's got the face piece that has a strap to it, so it keeps his eyes and kind of his forehead open around that.
Yeah, it looks like it's like a pullover, like one of those like those like bank robber masks, but it's made of like rubber molded, like because there's no like mouth holes, and somehow very clearly hear him speaking.
Right.
But he's definitely got his mouth covered.
Yes.
It makes you wonder, like, because I don't remember like seeing nose holes either.
No.
So like, does that actor like?
Yeah.
And then, like, I want to see that meta. That's the kind of sausage I want to see being made.
Yeah.
You know, I really like to know that kind of stuff.
It's crazy, and he was obviously
because they suffered during actors back then.
Oh man, that Mediterranean heat of all that running around doing all of these stunts.
And they don't look warm. They look flawless. I mean, there are some of the non-important characters are like, you're like, wow, sweating. but our main cast is like, they are flawless in every way.
I really want to watch this one like a couple more times to just really take it in, because again, it does feel like film school. All the things that they applied to this, and And going back with some of that stuff too, it's even like some of the early days where you go and look at the breakdown of some of the things with Buster Keaton, with how they made it look like he's roller skating around and almost tips over a thing, and then they pull the whole thing apart and they have this glass piece and they painted this and they did all of these things and they added all of this stuff in, but it's all lined up so meticulously where he's never really in danger of falling over the side, or he was actually in a lot of danger because they really did these things that are in there and they pull off these cool practical pieces. And you know, with him scaling the side of that mansion up parapet wall.
He's totally laying. That's totally like forced perspective.
It's totally laying on there. But they did such a good job of making it feel like he's doing it. He's climbing up rocks with with suction cup handles. Like clearly the suction cups are not hooking on there, but they could be, but you wouldn't get very far. But they did very much give it.
How much force that would take?
Oh,
to like,
my goodness!
To physically.
Yeah, and you know, they try to have the harrowing moment of where the one suction cup fails and he falls a little bit and catches it all again. Yeah, you have to build the tension on there for sure. But the fact is it's shot in such a way where it does feel like he is hanging there, even though he's not. Like they did such a good job of compositing those shots together that it's just really great. Yeah. Yeah. So, but
I like how he gets the necklace. Honestly, so in modern films we see these this one trope which is spectacular, which is fool the camera, and
there's security cameras in the room where the necklace is setting, and
he takes a photograph of like a Polaroid and sticks it into a candle and puts it in front of the camera, and then the camera sees what the room looked like at that moment. Now, what's funny is that the security guys are off, like our Ginkgo and his troop are off like another room watching through this painting like hidden camera.
Right.
So that's what he found was the secret. I don't even think the couple even knew that camera was there.
Yeah.
But it's the trope of keep the stagnant camera.
That's right.
They gotta get the necklace out of the room.
But it was weird too because it was never explained. He has a camera. He's got an electronic device that disrupts the camera because they go, wait, what just happened to the camera? Oh, and it's back. Oh, everything looks fine. And he slid the picture in front of the camera and then
stuck
steals
to a
the
candlestick,
necklace.
Which I thought was like, I was like, ooh, that's classy.
Yep.
Yeah.
He just happened to have a camera that he was able to take his picture really quick, but he didn't have the means to which to stick it in front of there. He was prepared to disrupt the camera. He was prepared to take a picture to hold up in front of the camera, but he wasn't prepared for how he was going to mount the picture to the wall. So he improvised and used the candle.
He's good with improv, I guess.
Improv, even though I planned all these other things.
He's prepared.
Yeah.
He's just like a Boy Scout of criminals.
Exactly. But they didn't know that he had stolen the necklace until the couple came back into the room and the wife screams, my necklace is gone.
Because they had literally told her to put her necklace on the table so they could watch it.
Right.
But they didn't tell her that there was a camera in the room.
They were going to be watching.
But they just said that
it'll be safe.
It'll be safe for security measures.
Right.
We want to keep it out in the open.
Yes.
There are so many things like that are so like ridiculous, and those are those moments that we're like, all right, we accept this reality.
Very easy to get lost.
I'm okay
in
with
this.
it.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I own this, and I'm moving on with the story. Like this progresses.
Yep. So he gets the necklace.
Yeah.
Makes his escape. Police are hot on his tail. He takes his clothes off, puts them in a catapult because they have a catapult at the mansion on the roof.
Yes.
He catapults his clothes.
Why not?
Off into the water.
Of course they have a catapult.
And they go to chase down his catapulted clothes while he sneaks off with the emeralds.
Yeah.
The emerald necklace.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but
that's when she gets hurt, right?
That might have been part of the escape where he takes that rolled up mirror across the way and gets hurt in there.
I think that's part of that escape.
Yeah.
So she gets hurt, and then we cut to where they have somehow found out that their doctor is they have a doctor.
Who knows how they did it? They found out that that's the doctor that.
Well, based on a composite sketch or something. I mean, like the kind of.
But she had a wig on and was pretending to be a lady of the evening out there to get some information on something, and someone saw her drive away, and they were getting gas at a gas station and saw her in a Jaguar and phoned it in at a phone booth. Phone booths were around back then. Look into it. You can Google what a phone booth is.
Well, though she was going to the doctor that time. That's why she was driving to the gas station. That's the whole, like, we put a tiger in your tank. You want a tail? And she's like, I'm not superstitious.
But she had the, oh wait, that's when she's going to the doctor, because she doesn't have the wig on at the time to make her hair look short. But this person can still identify who she is from the
drawing is so
with the
good.
Hair. It doesn't look like her.
Looks like a cartoon comic book character.
Oh my god.
Like a Stan Lee, Mary Jane.
We're off the rails as much as this film is.
We are off the rails.
Yeah. Well, let's start bringing it home and start talking about this ending where where Diabolik. We've got oh wait.
Valmont has his woman.
Valmont has his woman.
Captures his woman.
Yep.
And
that's
basically, right. He somehow, like, I figure that I can't.
So
they're waiting for a phone call from Diabolik, and Diabolik calls him, and they agree on these terms of, like, we're gonna swap the emeralds for the girlfriend.
Swapping the emeralds for the girlfriend with the mob.
Yes.
But the mob is setting him up with the police.
Yes.
So the police are going to be there to get him.
That's where we get our pill.
That's right.
That's right.
That's absolutely right. So we've got cops closing in. We've got mob closing in. Mob
he
has
saves her.
Yep.
Loses the necklace.
Lets her go because we're in that little cabin. That's right.
Yes.
She's handcuffed in the cabin.
Which I was like, oh, please don't do something terrible to her.
There's just some random cabin that's out there near. We're back at the quarry.
Yep.
Where all the cars have been driving off.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we get the girl. Mm-hmm. We lose the necklace to Valmont. Mm-hmm. And then he
hands off the necklace to Valmont, gets the girl.
And then they go back.
And he sends her back to the cabin. He says, go back to the cabin. You'll be safe there. I'll draw him away. And he gets into a gun battle with the mob, Valmont.
That's right.
And the police.
And then he takes the pill. At some point, but I don't think we see it, do we?
He takes we see him take the pill, but he does something else too. He pulls out the clip of his gun and he's counting his bullets. Mm-hmm. And that's where I was getting confused, because I was like, wait, what is he doing? Because he starts fidgeting with all of his bullets and he's messing with stuff. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on here.
That's right.
But
the car ends up going off the side, and that's where his body starts laying. Or was it like?
No, he's messing with his bullets and his gun, and then he shoots Valmont. But he shoots Valmont.
Yes.
Kills Valmont. So now our mob guy is dead. He's out of bullets.
Yeah.
And now he's put himself into a trance and made himself look dead. He doesn't have any bullet holes in him, but he's dead. And that's when the cops close in and find his corpse.
That's right. And they take him into the autopsy.
Mm-hmm.
And our girl, also a master of disguise.
That's right. He's now at
the
the morgue.
Assisting nurse for the autopsy.
Right.
And they pull out the drawer and they're looking him over and they're like, this is Diabolik. Yes, blah, 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 blah. And his eyes open and...
Right. And she's there. They've left, but they've positively identified the body. He's dead, but she's there knowing that he's going to come back to life.
Right.
Yeah.
And he goes into a minor explanation that he has this tantric skill set.
Right.
That he's able to, it's like some kind of shavasana.
Right.
And comes back to life.
Right.
And then we cut to where he's in another costume.
He puts on a disguise now.
And goes to the...
and he goes and he talks to the mortician there at the morgue.
To get the cremated ashes of his departed nephew, who was so good to his mother.
Right, Valmont, the mobster. We're going to get the remains. And they go over to the crematorium and it's like, oh yeah, it's just finished up. Let me get all of that.
And he knocks out as soon as he opened the door, we see the emeralds inside.
Right. What is that's sparkling in there? Katonk.
Yep. He knocks out the mortician.
Yep.
Yeah. And or coroner or whatever, and then takes the emeralds home.
Right.
Meets up with her.
That's where we learn, because they give us in this flashback where we see him. He has shot up Valmont.
Yes.
And what he did is he replaced the lead bullet
That's
on the
right.
gun and shot Valmont's body with the emeralds.
That's
so
right.
Valmont is dead. They think he's just been shot. Valmont is then cremated. So
Yes.
he's cremated and all the emeralds are in his ashes. And so now our guy who
That's
has
what we
faked
forgot.
his own death is there to now collect the emeralds that were lodged in the body of our mobster.
Which I guess emeralds don't melt down.
They don't. Yeah. Apparently the fire is enough to burn the body, but not to hurt the emeralds.
And the jewelry part of it too.
Right. Well, it doesn't have it.
That's right, because he puts them in the bullets. Yeah.
He handed off the empty necklace to Valmont, and because he goes to unroll it, and the emeralds aren't there. So that's why Valmont's like, he's been double crossed.
There we go. There's our plot.
Right, and that's why they get into the gun battle with each other. He shoots Valmont with the emeralds. That's what he's fidgeting with. When I'm like, what is he doing there?
Yes.
So Valmont's, because we do a flashback. He does a flashback where
the
Valmont
bullets are like
gets shot. Right, I know some of those emeralds are like 4 inches long. And they don't go like
suspension of disbelief, Martin.
I know, but he shot Valmont with those things. So now he's collected those at the crematorium. He's still in his disguise, and he's got a cane, and he's walking away past some folks who are waiting on the crematorium. We're waiting. Oh, he's busy right now.
He's
with
in
someone
shock
else.
right now. He said,
right, and he's walking past them, and he sets his cane down, and then he goes running away and out of the morgue with his bag of emeralds from the body.
Oh man.
Yeah.
One thing I did forget to mention about this, even though I kind of traipsed over the top of it, is who did the score for this?
You got to talk about the score.
Oh, Ennio Morricone or Morricone. I always say with a Japanese accent is messing me up. Anyways, but he did everything. This guy's musical scores are the thing. Like, he has done
He was the classic spaghetti western composer.
So again, this is like a major trifecta of like De Laurentiis, Bava, and Marconi. I have trouble with that word. It's I know it is. I know his music.
Yeah. But Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. He's the person that did the classic Good and the Bad and the Ugly music. And I think one of the final things that he ever did was the score for The Hateful Eight.
He did.
With Tarantino.
And all these ones ring true of that. Like, you can hear these elements in this particular score too. Beyond the little like dee-dee-da thing that I keep making fun of. But like, there are just these spectacularly like haunting musical elements that are happening where there's nobody talking, or there's just sound effects that are happening, and you can hear this score playing in the background. It is just spectacular.
It's really great.
There's so many things to love about this film. I mean,
and it's so because we've kind of talked about like Italian cinema, and you had brought up Giallo films and that kind of thing. You know, it's like Suspiria and the Goblin soundtrack and all of that. That's like an experience. I've seen it in the theater in 35 millimeter, the original Suspiria with that soundtrack. Like, it's an experience. It's not one that I necessarily want to watch over and over again. It doesn't have that same playability for me on it, but it's clearly like, so it's very intentional and specific, and it's crazy and it's wild and all of that. And, but you know, that I don't know why that gets so much more attention than what Bava does and what this film does, and the music and how it plays, because I feel like this music informed so many other styles, because he is recognized for his spaghetti western music, but nobody really gives the credit for what he does for James Bond scores for decades. All sorts of action films or spy films for decades are really informed by this music and how it plays. And it's so perfect in here because it never feels...
it's not ridiculous. It doesn't.
It's not ridiculous.
There's nothing hokey.
It's not cheesy.
And that's the thing is like...
It's all played
I have
straight,
trouble with that.
And it's great.
That people treat this like... That's why I was surprised that it got an MST3K, because I'm like, there's nothing hokey about this. It's like completely like... I mean... I'm not gonna say it's earnest. It's charming, and it has these. I think it's meant to be dynamic, and that's what everybody brings to this table. Like I said, all the acting was like, dialed up. Everybody was dialed up because it's supposed to be dynamic. It's supposed to be kind of like a not a cartoon, but like an action novel.
Yeah.
But without the campiness. There's no camp to this. It's
I
not
agree.
a so good it's bad or so bad it's good or whatever. This has no camp to me. Feels like a spectacular film.
Yeah.
But
And it's at a time when some of these folks were making, right now, one director could take 3 or 4 years to make a film. And back then,
I mean,
they
have
were
you
making-
seen Planet of Vampires?
I haven't, and I really want to.
I
That
mean,
was the one I
Bava.
mentioned.
Bava's a great director, but not everything is like this. I mean,
But they
honestly,
were making like 3 films a
Yeah.
year sometimes.
I mean, during this film, De Laurentiis Studios was being used for Barbarella,
Right.
and then so and so he's from Barbarella.
This lead actor was in Barbarella, right? He was Barbarella's sidekick boyfriend guy through the whole thing.
So he was busy.
Yeah, I know. They and that's the thing is they were busy. They were making stuff.
But this was a bust
Yeah.
because it came out unfortunately because of having Barbarella being spectacularly budgeted and whatnot. This was a bust in comparison.
Right.
So I think that's why it's like some redhead stepchild of Italian cinema. I think this is sadly underseen, and hopefully people will like this. I mean, I challenge people to watch these and at least maybe do a little research about it because they are a lot of fun to watch.
Is really, really great.
Yeah, thanks for watching it with me.
Well, and thank you for introducing me to Bava, and not just this film, but this Bava, because I want to go watch more of his stuff now.
I think you'll like his horror stuff is pretty good. I mean, I also love westerns too.
Yeah.
I got a weakness. I like films. I like to watch lots.
Yeah, it was pretty great. I'm excited for that. And not only am I excited that, I'm excited for the next film that we're going to watch, Gretchen.
Your pick.
Oh, is it? Well, was it my pick? It was both of our pick? I don't know.
It was one of those ones when we talked about making the show. We were like, this is one of the things we definitely want to put on the list of things to watch.
Definitely my heavy lean because I talk about this film a lot. And again, going back to that, I love kung fu films and watching kung fu theater at one of our local art house is the Hollywood Theater. And so I've seen this one twice in the theater. This is the first time I've seen it on a small screen. This is The Boxer's Omen, which is absolutely, completely bonkers. It's an offshoot of the Shaw Brothers studios making things. And this is a 1980s film where they were making black magic, kind of almost like wizardry.
So
I don't want to say sword, but sorcery. They were into this whole sorcery, kung fu, occult mashup stuff. And this thing is, it is Tibetan mysticism mixed with martial arts kung fu.
Yeah.
That is so off the rails. There is no film that I have ever seen that is even close to this movie. It's crazy, and I'm so excited for us to get into it and watch that film. I know. And just so everybody knows, too, Gretchen and I have decided to watch 2 movies a month as opposed to 1 movie a month. So every 2 weeks, we're planning on having something come out. So middle of March is when you're going to get to see our episode of Boxer's Omen. Actually, this will be the beginning of April.
Yeah.
So beginning of April, this film will come out. We're going to launch this one. You're going to be seeing this one right now, which hopefully is the middle of March. So I am so excited. This is so really great. And I appreciate you so much for this.
Thanks for having me.